Hi, it's Anthony from CarPlayLife.com, and in this video I'll be looking at the new W901 Pro portable display from Carpuride. This 9-inch portable display allows you to add wireless CarPlay and Android Auto to any car stereo, as well as playback video media from an inserted USB drive and cast video from your phone to the display. I reviewed the W901 last year, but this new Pro model improves on its software, adds dual Bluetooth support for Bluetooth audio output, and its audio has been improved with the addition of an adjustable EQ. In the box you get a paper instruction manual, one adjustable dashboard mount bracket, and an adhesive sticker for its base. There's an adjustable mount that attaches to the windscreen via a suction cup, an adhesive pad if you wish to attach this same mount onto the actual dashboard itself, a 12-volt adapter charging cable, an aux audio cable, and finally there is the 9-inch car stereo display itself. Looking over the display then, its 9-inch display is bigger than the more common 7-inch portable displays that I've reviewed in the past, especially in this 4x3 format. It features an IPS display with a native resolution of 1024 by 600. The result is a large, vibrant display with a large wide viewing angle, and its high resolution allows for more icons per screen in CarPlay than more common aftermarket receivers allow. On top there is a button to turn the display on and off, and with a short press of this button it will mute the display's audio. This Pro model has the same number of I/O ports on the left hand side, which includes a 3.5mm external microphone port, a micro SD card slot for media playback, a 2.5mm port for a optional rear camera kit, a 3.5mm auxiliary output port, and there is a USB-A port for USB media and charging devices. And finally there is a DC input port to power the display using the supplied 12-volt power cable. On the back there are mounting holes for the display, which also comes with a couple of mounting options. The first is a windscreen mounting option. The second is a dashboard mount. Both screen and base mounts offer a solid foundation for the display, with plenty of adjustment to get the perfect angle in your car. So that's a brief look at the display itself. Let's jump in the car now and see how well this Pro model performs. Right, so in my Golf here, I do have CarPlay, but imagine that I'm in a car that doesn't have CarPlay in their car stereo system. I've already mounted the Carpuride on my dash here, so I've got it stuck to the screen. You probably just about see the suction cup that's holding the whole thing on, but I'll also do a quick pan of what I'm doing there. The cable length itself is quite short. I also got it angled slightly away from the camera so that you don't actually get as much glare, at least from me with a red t-shirt. That was a bad decision. The cable length is not that long. I would like probably an extra meter would be quite nice to have a fully integrated installation. Unfortunately it's a specific adapter, you can't use a USB cable, so for now luckily I only need a temporary solution, but if you were to buy this, just bear that in mind, the cable length that you actually have. So I'm using the windscreen mount, it's clipped in at the back. I've attached a few other things to it so I don't have to do it later on. And as you can see, it's quite a big size sticking out of the dash. So this is my view out of the windscreen, and it does take up, it's kind of blocking my view a bit, and I'm not quite a fan of that. So if it was me, I would locate this down onto the vent mounts just above the stereo, if it was in my sort of situation. And you can use the ball joint that comes with the mount at the back, and you just have to get a vent mount solution that has a ball joint clip on the mount side, because you're going to have to use the attachment at the back that I'm going to show you now. That clips into the back of the display, and you need a ball joint vent mount solution that clips onto the back of that. So bear that in mind if you're thinking of mounting this in a different way. So if you've got a 10-inch display which is a little bit narrower, that might sit on your dash a little bit better. You could check out their 103 Pro displays instead, which is a little bit narrower 10-inch display rather than this kind of 4x3 kind of format, which is a little bit more stand out on your dash a little bit. Right, so let's check out the boot up time. I'm going to start the car. Right, so that's about 10-12 seconds, which is not a bad startup time considering, and you've basically fallen onto the main menu interface. So you can see across the top here, you've got home, you've got volume indicator and slider there. So you've got independent volume for navigation and your main volume. So that's a really nice touch. Not many actually do that. You've got Bluetooth option, what devices are actually currently paired with it. So you've got a fast track there to do like multi-device switching. You've got display, which you can change the brightness of the display, and you've got an auto mode there. And up here, you've got just a toggle that toggles through wallpapers. There's not really that many, and they're all quite a little bit basic. I think there'll be a nicer way of doing those wallpapers, if I'm honest. They haven't changed since the non-pro version. So that takes you home, this button here. And then here we have the main menu. You've got iPlay, which is CarPlay, Auto, which is Android Auto. You've got two ways of mirroring or screencasting from your Apple device and your Android device if you want to do screencasting. New to Pro is this equalizer. Usually you had a display on and off button here, which is a little bit wasted. That now goes to an equalizer. Bluetooth for audio and calling, so you can actually use your connected phone through your car system if it hasn't got Bluetooth, and you could actually use calling from your phone via this display. USB and TF card input for media playback and videos. Transmission mode between Bluetooth and FM stereo, and then you've got settings. So let's just quickly go in settings where you can change the language, the device speaker where you're going to have it on or off depending on what you're going to use, which side of the car you're driving on, because that will set what the menu bar is going to be like on CarPlay. Restore factory settings, and you can view the system version that's currently in use. Here you can actually choose if you want to connect to like a mirroring or actual Android Auto for CarPlay and Android Auto. And then here you've got your Wi-Fi settings, what it's called, what's the password, what channel it's going to be using, and then finally a video warning to stop you from watching video whilst you're moving, which is just a warning that you can turn off. Parking line, parking setting, and rear camera mirror is basically if you've got the optional rear camera kit in the back of your car, and you can view the back of your car through this menu here and configure it. So that's the settings, quite basic, doesn't go too far into the nitty-gritty of everything. So let's get connected to CarPlay. Got to connect to the device here. So I'm going to go to Bluetooth. Carpuride is actually fired up already. Pairing, allowing, and we've just got to wait for the Bluetooth to switch over. And then now we're in CarPlay. So I think that's quite quick. And once we're in CarPlay, we've got 10 icons instead of 8. This is a nice higher resolution display. Not the highest that's out there, but it is high. And that means that CarPlay can now fill that extra real estate with more icons. And that's where you get 10 instead of 8. So responsiveness is good. It's very tactile, the screen, and you've got a good view. I've actually got this screen pointing away from me, and the view is actually very, very nice. But everything is responsive. It's going to connect through your phone, and what we'll do, we'll get things audibly playing. So we basically going to play some music, and you're going to hear the sound come out of the car speaker.
Well, here we are back in the hot, muggy streets of New York.
Right, so very, very loud on the speaker, surprisingly loud actually. It's actually meant to be only 4 watts, and the previous review, that was only 3 watts. But this sounds a lot louder. I think the speakers are more present in the back of the casing or something, so it's going to be a lot more louder there. And as you can see, I wasn't even maximum volume, and there was quite a lot of distortion already. So generally, about these displays, the onboard speaker is never one that you want to settle with. So you've heard the speaker in the actual casing. Let's now try FM radio. So I'm going to go onto my car radio now, switch it to FM, and I've got 105.8, which I'm going to go for. You can hear in the background there really isn't much traffic or stations that are operating on that frequency. So we're going to go home, we're going to go to transmit, FM transmit, and then we're going to dial in 158. It's in there already, and you can turn this on or off as well, so it automatically did it already. We're locked in, can't hear any static, that's a good sign. We're going to switch to CarPlay and carry on playing from the beginning.
Well, here we are back in the hot, muggy streets of New York.
Right, so there was an echo there, and now you can also hear a bit of a hiss. And that's because you need to come out of this. This is a new thing for me and this display. Turn device speaker off. I'm going to go back to transmit again and find a better signal. I'm going to go to manual, locked in, go home. Still a bit of a hiss, but not too bad. Start again. So not brilliant. You can get a quite an audibly hiss there, and I tried to get rid of that. You heard it lock in, but as soon as it starts streaming, you can hear that hiss even when you stop it. It like doesn't fully get rid of it. I don't know why that's doing that, but again, FM is not going to be the best solution here. But if you don't have aux in your car or Bluetooth, FM's the next best thing than using the onboard speaker, really. So your experience might vary here, but for me, FM really isn't a good option. So let's try auxiliary. Right, so we've got the auxiliary cable here. We're going to plug the one end in, straight end into auxiliary port. So we're plugged in. So the unfortunate sign of auxiliary is that we've got to use more cables. If you can tie them together, the cable is not as long as the power cable. So we're now jacked into the auxiliary. Let's try this again. So you can hear that much better than FM. The one thing I did have to do is I had to reduce the volume a lot to 10. Any more and the bass resonated so much that I got distortion. Let me just show you. That's not good. So that goes at around about 11 and 10. So that's auxiliary. Let's go for the final best case solution. If you've got a Bluetooth stereo, and that's using Bluetooth audio. So on the stereo, I'm going to go to Bluetooth audio, and then on the transmitter, I'm going to do B2 transmit. See if it finds my VW. It does. We'll try and connect with the VW. I'm also going to do a search on my VW. Select profile is not supported. So I'm connected to my VW, but it says it's unable to connect. It's working. So other than blowing my speakers almost, volume 10 still works fine anymore. It's probably too much, so you have to dial that down. Same is going to be when you have navigation commands, you're probably going to have to dial that down too. So I'll test that now whilst I'm playing some audio. Send an audio message to test.
Go ahead.
Hi, this is Anthony from CarPlayLife.com, and this is an audio test, and this is a test using the microphone. I'm going to try and rub this bit here. I'm also going to tap this microphone up here. So if you've not heard those, it's using the microphone in my car instead. And this is an audio test. So that just shows you that the mic is being picked up from the actual device itself, which is good. If you don't have a microphone in your car, it's not using the one in your phone, so you can actually have your phone still in a bag or back pocket. The microphone will be using the one from the display. And it sounds okay, a little bit distant, but that's expected considering it's pointing away from me and it's quite a bit of a distance away as well. Okay, let's do a call test. Hello? All right, so that call quality, all right, but the delay was quite insignificant. I'd be happy to take a call with that kind of delay, so that sounds all good to me. I'm going to do a CarPlay test, and when I get out and does everything, it will connect again. Right, so we're giving it a second or two. I'm going to start the car and see if everything all connects. Back with the Bluetooth, in with CarPlay, and see if we can play some music. So we've already connected to the CarPlay display on my car stereo here. Let's see if it connects to CarPlay. CarPlay's fired up, and we got audio, and we got CarPlay. Fantastic. So, right, so that's a little bit quicker than some others. Let's try wheel controls. Right, so wheel controls do not work because unlike the other display that I reviewed last week, this one is connecting directly to my car stereo. So if I can't even control it through the car stereo, you don't have any wheel controls because it's not using the phone to bypass and connect to the display. It's directly with the car system itself. So in theory, you should really have control with the wheels. So play and pause works, but the back and next buttons, as is the wheel controls back and next don't work. Neither does the calling button. So I find that a little bit odd, but that could just be my system. Your Bluetooth system might vary as well. But play and pause is good, but I can only do it from the display itself. Let's just play some music and play around with the equalizer. That's good. Equalizer being transferred across the Bluetooth as well. I'm sure that's going to happen across FM, auxiliary and the speaker itself. You can see there is actually a loud section button there as well. If your stereo hasn't got the oomph or the drive, that might enhance the audio for you there as well. So that's a good addition for the Pro model if you've got a stereo that is able to make use of it. Right, so we switch to the iPhone. We've got our Android Pixel here. So let's go to Bluetooth. Let's delete the profile completely and let's connect to Android Auto. So on our Android device, we're going to go into Bluetooth, pair new device. Carpuride pops up. We get a pair. Active is picked up on the display. And we are in. So that is another fast boot, I think, and the display looks good. It's a little bit lower res than I would expect, but at least it's all in good ratio, which can't be said for some other displays that are out there. They're a lot more squashed. The resolution doesn't actually come across properly for some reason. So we've got our maps here and we are connected. This has frozen, but it is pulsating, so what's that about? So I'm going to stop and start the device. We'll reconnect, and then we are back into the interface. Let's see if this actually works now. Yep, it does. So we can tap, we can wiggle, we can zoom in, we can zoom out, we can recenter, switch to Spotify, play that. That's been a seamless transition for Bluetooth. No, it hasn't, because I've already paired Bluetooth already before. So the fact that with the Coral Vision I had to then repair everything, but because the display is connected directly to the car system itself, that's one less thing to think about of reconnecting it to other phones. So now the audio from the Android is coming across the stereo because we previously paired it. So that's the audio that you're hearing now. Sounds good. And all the equalizer settings and stuff are all being carried across as well. Everything's responsive between the two. And then you've got the menu system. But as an Android Auto goes, I would expect this to be a little bit higher resolution. But considering the size of the display and everything, I think it looks okay, good enough. A lot better than some other portable displays, let's put it that way. So let's do a quick call test. Hello? Hello? So that's odd that I did a call on the Android. iPhone, not a problem, but on Android, I wasn't able to hear the caller. They could hear me, but I couldn't hear them. That could be my setup. Could have been that I using Bluetooth and it can't also use Bluetooth to transmit the audio from the microphone or something. I don't know. Something didn't work there. So that's Android Auto. Let's check out the media playback. So we've got a USB drive stuck in the side here.
What happens when you find Tron?
Power, such as you've never dreamed.
So there's about a 1 to 2 second delay on the audio, at least through Bluetooth. We could potentially switch out of Bluetooth and see if it is Bluetooth that is the delay.
What happens when you find Tron?
Power, such as you've never dreamed.
So that's better. So across aux and probably FM and the speaker as well, audio is actually in sync with the USB media. TF card and USB playback's going to be very, very similar, so we don't have to show you that. And the last thing is AirPlay. For that, we need to connect to the device's Wi-Fi hotspot. You've got to make sure that CarPlay or Android Auto isn't connected, otherwise it won't work. So here we can then go to mirroring, Carpuride display, and then we're now mirroring and we're actually on the display itself. So now you're seeing me on my phone mess with all this. So we're now going to go to YouTube and make that full screen, and that's that. We can make that pinch to zoom there as well to make it as big as we can. So it's a bit bigger than my iPhone 13 Pro. So and you don't have to have like your phone on the dash or anything like that. So that's quite good if someone's in the back and they want to transmit some video to the rest of the people in the car. Sync wise, I'd say it's a little bit behind, but let's just try some of my videos. These adapters into your car USB port, you have even more video and music content available at your fingertip. At the DS Lite adapter. All right, I think that's good. Quite impressive there. You got no lag whatsoever. This again is across aux output. So let's just redo this using Bluetooth audio. So we're now connected over Bluetooth audio. I'm just going to disconnect the aux cable just to make sure. And then we're going to switch this to BT Transmit. We're already connected. So in theory, this should still work. Have even more video and music content available at your fingertips. So if your entertainment seems lacking in the car, consider this DS Lite. So I'd say that's again 1 to 2 second delay across Bluetooth, which is quite a surprise really for Bluetooth. I'd expect that with Wi-Fi, but not Bluetooth. So video is best done outside of Bluetooth audio. But for casual watching and it's on the side of your peripherals, I don't think you might look into it too much, but it's something you might want to consider as a problem if you're going to use Bluetooth audio and you're going to watch from the display intentionally. So we're going to come out of here. That's casting, at least on iOS. Android is a little bit different. Right, so for Android Auto mirroring, or at least casting, we have to, I think, use it from wired. So AutoLink app that it needs uses a cable connection. So we've got our cable here for our Android. We're going to connect the cable, connect up AutoLink, change the Android Auto wired link to AutoLink, and then the display, and forget the devices. So we're going to reconnect the cable. Right, so it's asking, do we want to connect? Yep, start recording, and now we're in. Quite rapid. So let's try YouTube. Time, or whilst you're waiting for your EV to charge. In this video, I'll be focusing on. So audio is in sync with AutoLink, but unfortunately the audio doesn't actually come through the car stereo itself, or at least I can't get that to work. All right, so that's all the features of the Carpuride 901 Pro. Let's get back to the studio and let's sum up my final impressions. This W901 Pro model portable display from Carpuride currently retails on sale for $269.99 directly from their Carpuride store. And I'll post direct links to this display in the description down below so you can learn more about this display and buy yourself one. My impressions match their earlier non-Pro model that I reviewed this time last year. It's a capable portable display for use with wireless CarPlay as well as Android Auto. It's unfortunate though that after a year the Pro didn't get many refinements. It needed to really make it shine. It's much the same with a small incremental hardware and software bump, certainly not enough to be classed as a Pro model in my opinion. Personally, I would have expected a lot more over last year's model, such as casing improvements, I/O ports, improved UI, connection compatibility, and audio sync delay, as well as any other surprises. Its EQ is certainly a welcome addition to help boost sound in older car stereo systems, and its dual Bluetooth support for Bluetooth audio output offers a much better audio output solution for car systems that just missed out on the more modern day connectivity that today's modern cars have as standard now. It's unfortunate that I couldn't get wheel controls to work alongside Bluetooth audio, and only play and pause from the system screen only really worked for me. However, my VW system is a stock retrofit and your experience might be more successful. Another issue with Bluetooth audio was when playing back audio in videos, which saw audio out of sync by around 1 to 2 seconds. I found this quite odd for Bluetooth audio to be this laggy, but switching back to auxiliary or FM audio seemed to easily work around this problem. Calling and casting from Android had some issues too, and I found Android Auto itself was a little bit too low in its DPI output for a screen resolution of this size. So I would hesitate to recommending this display if you're an Android only user. However, for iPhone users though, this portable display performed well. Wireless CarPlay was quick to boot, calling delay was very good, and I had no issues with reconnecting Bluetooth audio as well as CarPlay or Android Auto on re-entry into the car. Casting from iPhone also performed a little bit better than Android, just as long as you use auxiliary or FM transmission for audio playback whilst watching videos. Specifically, the W901 Pro from Carpuride is a decent upgrade from last year's display, and it's a great way to easily and very quickly modernize old cars and old stereos to make them more compatible with today's mobile phones for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, as well as handle video playback and cast media from them too. If you'd like to check out another review of another great portable display, you can check out this video here, and I'll see you there. Give us a thumbs up if you found this video helpful, and comments are always welcome if you have any questions about the W901 Pro portable display from Carpuride. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.